Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and to our second project using Stamperia Garden of Promises. This is a design project for Scrap and Create. You can get all your supplies there. I may be tacking this on to the first video and just do it all in one, but I'm not sure how long it is, so I'm thinking this is probably a second video that you're watching. So what I have done, we made all our pages last time for the book. And what I've done is gone through and cut mats. Now these mats may or may not be the right size, but this book is 4 by 6. So what I've done is I took the sheets I had left that were not cut apart, so that included the front and back covers because there's stuff on the inside of those, and cut them. And what I did is I cut them into 5 7/8 by 3 7/8. Now some of those are going to be too big or they're not going to be the right shape, but they're all going to be big enough. So if I just cut all those sheets into that shape, then I can work with those pieces. And then I think I have a few scraps, but not many. So I don't know how much we'll be using of scraps. Okay, so let's go ahead and just get started. I've inked everything, I think, but I'm probably going to have to re-ink because I'm going to have to cut some of these down. And I've left my trimmer here because I'm probably going to have to trim some things. Okay, so let's look at this one and just make sure it's right side up. And it is not. Okay. So hang on. Let me turn this around. Okay. Alright, so that's going there. I seem to be missing one. I may not have cut them all. Okay. So that, and that goes inside. Okay. So getting myself sorted here. And let me grab a baby wipe. And let's just start putting these down. So I'm just going to go through putting these down. And when I get to one where I have to show you how to trim it or cut it or whatever, then I'll slow down because I'll put this on fast forward. And when I get to where I have to show you something, I will slow or stop and explain and then move on. Now, the other thing before I speed up and leave you behind for a minute is you do not have to mat this at all. You could just leave all of these spaces, put photos on them, and be done. I like the way they look matted if I have enough paper. I don't always have enough paper when I'm making one of these to mat them, or to fully mat. Maybe I'll partially mat. So, you know, that's something to take into account, how you want to do it. And then these are going here. Oh, and before I speed up, is remember we trimmed the right side inner flaps on all these pages. And that's why I said you're probably going to have to retrim these mats that you've cut. Now, some of them I've already done, and then others I haven't, so I'll have to trim them. But just make sure you test fit mats before you glue them down, in case you have to trim. So in other words, like this one will be like 3 3/4 because it's narrower. got all of the big mats down on those. And now we need to do the small ones. And I think I'm just going to do the angled one because I think that's the only one that's a little tricky. I'm pretty sure you can figure out how to mat a straight pocket. But let me just grab a couple things and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So this is the one that has the angled pocket. So it's got 2 angled pockets and a straight pocket. And I'm going to show you how we do this. Now notice we have not yet glued down any of these pockets because all this matting is easier if you don't, because they have no tabs. So it's easier to mat and then glue. And all right. So I am, by the way, in my second 12 by 12. Not too far in, but I have had to cut into the second 12 by 12. So let's start with the inner pieces on these angled pockets. Now down here, this is 2 inches wide. Excuse me. I think it's this part that's 2 inches wide. Or what did I make it? 2? No, 1.5. But up here, it's only 1 inch here. So the widest part of the mat is up here. Can you see that? So up here, we need to make sure it's wide enough. And so measuring this, I think I can get away with a piece 3 1/4 inches wide. And it's going to be the same on this side. So I'm going to cut a strip that's 3 1/2 inches wide. And I think I will cut it from this side. So 3 1/2. And I'm going to use that again. And we're going to cut these 5 5/8, which is a little tricky on this trimmer. I'm kind of guessing. Okay. So one will go there, and then the other one's going to go there. Okay. So that's going to be that. And then we are going to need pieces for this pocket. And I think 3 3/4 is going to do for both. So I'm going to cut a strip 3 3/4. Okay. And then the pocket height is 2 7/8 for the mat. And I'm going to cut it from down here because I like these flowers. So that's going to go on the front of the pocket. And then I need another piece to line the pocket. And I'm going to use the other side. And that can be, let's do 3 3/4. Okay, so that's all of that, right? The last thing we need now are these 2 pieces. So let's first get all this glued down, and then we'll do that. But first I have to ink. And I've been using vintage photo for this particular project. We'll do the edge just in case, even though it's not going to show. fold that back out of the way. These baby wipes get so much ink on them. Should have got a clean one out. It's fine. Okay, now I can go ahead and glue this pocket down. So I just need to put a little glue along this upper edge and along this edge here. And you don't want to put too much glue here, and I'm guilty of using too much glue almost all the time, but the more glue you use, the less room you're going to have in this pocket. There we go. Okay, now we can do this one. Be careful, this paper has text on it, so you want to make sure you get your text right side up if possible. There we go. Got to refill that glue bottle. It is that's centered. Okay, and then here we just want glue here and here. And then we'll get this one. Get that right side up. And then we can put this pocket. There. All right, now the last thing we need is here. And let me see. I don't want to use the same paper for that because I don't think it'll show up very well. We could use the polka dot and just, yeah, that'll work. Okay, so what we need is we want to cut to the widest mark. So in this case, it's 2.5 inches wide. So I'm just going to cut it to a strip 2 3/8. Okay, so 2 3/8, and again, it's going to be 5 7/8. So if we did that, is that too wide? I feel like that's still a little wide on that one. Oh, because we cut that one narrower. Forgot about that. Okay, so this one's fine. This one needs to be a little bit narrower. We'll make it 2 1/4, maybe a little over. Okay, so that's going to be that one. Then we're going to measure the top, which is 1 inch. So we know the bottom is okay, but the top needs to be at 7/8. So I'm going to make a mark at 7/8. And then put this in here, put that at 7/8, and that right on the edge. And this should work. Fingers crossed, everybody. Okay. So that will go there, and that's going to be just fine. And then we want to measure this one because, again, we trimmed it, so it's not, whoops, exactly the same. So this one is already 7/8, so we want to cut the top to 3/4, and remember, it's coming from this side now. So I am going to 3/4. And making a mark. Hopefully dark enough that I can see. And we're going to do the same thing. So from this corner this time. I think it'd be easier to turn it this way. There is that mark, that up there. This one is going to go there, okay? So you see, it's not hard, but that's how you do those angles. Now the other ones, I think you can do, they're pretty straightforward. All right, let's get this inked and glued down. So you can see this is a small project, but it does use a fair bit of paper. I mean, we've gone through basically the whole sheet just doing this inside. Now you can limit it by not fully matting, or excuse me, or by using some solid cardstock for some of these mats if you want it. That's kind of funky. What did I do? There it is. Now this mat, I don't know what I did if I shifted it. I didn't cut it perfectly. It does not matter. With this project, you don't want to fuss too much. I mean, you can if you want, but this is one project where I don't do a lot of fussing or thinking about my mats. pretty. That is fully matted and done. Okay, so I am going to go through and mat the rest of these. Wherever I have like insides and pockets that I haven't done, I'm going to do those. And then I'll come back and we will put all of this together. So I shall be back in a second for you. All right, I am back. And I have matted everything. I've got everything here. So these are the covers. If you remember, we cut these 4x6, and I just went ahead and matted them. And we'll get back to those in a minute. Actually, we'll get to those immediately upon finishing my intro here. These are the folded pattern paper pages. These are the ones that we just matted, and these are the hinges that we made. So let's do this cover. And I think I am going to make this the front cover and that the back cover. So I need the back cover first. Now you have, do I have the other one here somewhere? Yeah, hang on, let me grab it. Okay, so here is the back cover. Well, let me untie it so you can see the tie wraps around a couple times. And I have two eyelets on the back with, you know, grommets or eyelets, whatever you want to call them, with the string running through them. This is how I like to do this, the closure, but if you don't have a tool to do this, that's fine. You can, before you mat this, just run a long piece of seam binding underneath your mat, and you can use that as your closure. But I am going to do the grommets, and as you can see, this is 6 inches tall, and I have them at 3 3/4 down from the top, so below the halfway mark. And let me, doesn't really matter. I think I can see them easier on this side though. So I'm going to come down, get my pencil. So 3 3/4 is right here. And then I'm going to come in, how far? I think an inch, maybe. How far in did I come on this? 3/4. Okay, let's do 3/4. So I'm going to put one there, and then we're going to come down again 3 3/4 and in 3/4, just where I made that mark. Okay, that does not look, hang on, those don't look even. That one's good. I feel like this one is not. Yeah, that one's too low. That's where I want. That's better. Okay. And is that one? You know what, I think I'm going to use the shiny gold ones, just because they're actually my least favorite ones. And they don't go with many of the collections I use, but I feel like they actually would go with this collection. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so that's that. Oh, you know what? I put the grommet on the wrong side. I was going to put this on the outside. Oh well, it's fine. Okay, now we need to set up how we want these pages to go. So we've got 6 of the ones that are made out of cardstock and matted. So we're going to start with one of those. So let's just mix these up. It doesn't, like I said before, I try not to fuss too much with these, so I'm just going to alternate those. Okay, and then we're going to put one of these in between each of these. There. Okay, that's going to be our page order. Again, super easy. Excuse me. Sorry, had a runny nose. Okay. Let's get rid of that. And now we have our hinges. So we are going to take the first one, and here's our cover. So that's going to go there. And just looking to see which side I like for the hinge. And I'm just, most of the time, I'm not going to fuss over these hinges. I'm just going to grab a hinge and put it down. I'm just going to give that a varnish. All right, so this is going to go with its folded edge right there against the edge. And I am definitely going to have to refill this one. So when you're doing this, it's pretty important that you get that hinge right along that edge. And again, I made my hinge fairly wide. You can make yours narrower if you want. And then this is going to go there. Feel like with this particular project, the hinge is part of the design, so we're going to make sure that's even, top, bottom, and along that hinge. Okay, there we go. Now, the next step, just double checking, it's good. Okay, so now we need another hinge. This is going to be these, and I think maybe we'll put that up there because it goes really well with that. Go, and then this is going there. Just realized you might not even be able to see what I'm doing. I'm sorry about that. Goodness, I may have to do this. There's our cover. I'm just making sure I have everything as it should be. There's that. Okay, so then we have one of these. That's going to go like that. Double check as you're going to make sure everything's right side up. And I think that would look good with that one. Or do we want more flowers? Oh, I'm not going to fuss. That's my natural. Oh, that's pretty. Let's do that. My natural inclination is to just fuss and go crazy trying to pick the perfect thing. And That's ridiculous. Okay. Again, I keep pulling it off to the side there. Okay, that's going there. I think. Do I have the right? Yeah. Or did I say I wanted that one? Nope. I'm going crazy here. Okay. Now, another thing you can do, especially when you've made your hinges wide like this, and I'll show you in a minute what I was about to say. Okay. That is definitely not in the right place. Thanks. All right, that's sticking out a little, but it'll be all right. We can work with it. Okay. If you've made your hinges wide, you can just put glue along the edge here and make that into a tuck spot. However, I am not going to do that. I'm just being a little careful with that one because I had the other one off a little, so I want to get back on track with making sure this one is right. Okay, there we go. So that, and then where am I at? This is next. And let's see, do we want that side? Nope, we want that side. Oh, I didn't glue down the pockets. Well, like, this is easy enough to do, but even after the book is assembled, I don't think I glued down any of these pockets for the folded ones. Better. I'll have to go through and do all that. Okay, now that glue bottle's making obnoxious noises. Good. I'm basically just picking up whatever I'm picking up and working with it. That would go too, though. Should we use the spots? I'm going to use the original. Okay, got all of those done. Now, if you find it tricky to just do them one after the other, you could split it in half and do half the book and half the book and then put it together, whatever works for you. Okay, so this is now, wait, that's the front cover. Hang on. So this is going to go here. And I think I may need to trim down the hinge on the one side because I don't want it to overhang that grommet. Which one do I want? This one's fine. Actually, I kind of like that one. Yeah, let's do that one. So let's see. Yeah, see how it's overhanging that grommet? I'm definitely going to have to trim that. Okay, so let's do that. I could have put this on first and then done the grommet, and that's probably the way to go. I just didn't even think of it, to be perfectly honest. Let us... Okay, so while I was gluing this all together, I didn't notice that I had passed the 30-minute mark, so my camera stopped. That is the way cameras work when recording video. But anyway, so you will have seen me putting this all together. Now, one thing you're going to have to do is go back through and glue down all your folded pages that haven't been glued down yet. If you want, you can leave them loose, but I think they're better glued. And then when I got to the back and added the back cover, because my hinge is wide, I did have to trim this down, and I trimmed it down to a little over ½ inch. Then you just put a long string, if you haven't used the seam binding that I talked about earlier, through the grommets. And I like a long one. You don't have to make it as long, but you just crisscross them. And then this is why I like it long, because I like to bring it around a couple times. And then tie. And again, I'm using a pretty thin twine here, but because those grommets are pretty big, you could use a thicker twine if you want, or even a ribbon or something like that. There you go. Didn't tie that very neatly, but anyway, that is our project. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. This is our second project with this collection. They will both be in the same playlists on my YouTube channel, so just check my playlists. Look for Stamperia Garden of Promises, and you'll find this project as well as the other one that we already did, which I think is, excuse me, right here. So that's that one, in case you missed it. So they make a nice pair. And I will be back soon, and we will do another project with a different collection. So thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.